Hey there guys, welcome back to the channel, and I haven't done a live stream for quite some time here. But yeah, I have some videos already lined up for the rest of December, January already done. You can stay tuned for those videos. Very likely could be some other videos along the way that haven't been made and perhaps will be added as well. But yeah, let's talk about the Game Awards quickly. Why don't we? So I, just like anyone else, voted for the games I wanted to win. So Nadal with the big save. So I kind of already made peace in a way, knowing, I know it's kind of a weird way to say it, but I already knew Elden Ring or God of War. It's like Elden Ring or God of War. I should clarify that because I don't know which game won, but I knew what one of the two games was going to win Game of the Year. Even though I really wanted Horizon Forbidden West to win, because I heavily enjoy that game a lot, and it made me want to get the platinum, and not a whole lot of games I want to get the platinum for, or I care enough to get the platinum. I just finish the story, then move on. But the way Horizon was made, and all the extra set pieces and the music and everything, just made me want to get the platinum. But I knew with God of War being as popular and just coming out, it was little to no chance Horizon was going to get it. Though they had a better chance over Stray, let's be honest, over Stray and Xenoblade. And because, again, when it comes to it, Stray and Xenoblade is a Nintendo game, and Nintendo is popular, but it won't get as much attention in a way over Xbox and PlayStation. It's God of War. It's just PlayStation, which we're gonna get to God of War in a minute. So, I want to either Plague or Horizon. Mainly wanted Horizon 2 to win, but yeah, I knew there was almost no chance. Especially everyone on Twitter going, "Oh, it's God of War. No, it's Horizon. No, it's God of War. No, it's Horizon." I mean, not Horizon. It's Elden Ring. I'm like, it's gonna be one or the other. But I'm not really surprised Elden Ring won. But then after God of War basically sweeping the Game Awards, like The Last of Us Part 2, except not winning Game of the Year. Let's get the hey, good save. Except not winning Game of the Year, which was really surprising because God of War won literally every single award, everything that makes a game, best music, which they should not have won, because there's other games that were nominated that should have won for it. I can't think of the games now in my head, but it's like there's one of the games that was nominated that was mainly around the music, so that should have been possibly a winner. But God of War should not have won Best Music, in my opinion, at least. And everything I say is mostly my opinion, so it's not. Don't take me as factual here. It's mostly my opinion. It seems like it's like the one best game direction. They won basically everything that makes the game except Game of the Year, which makes no sense. Like, I get the game just came out a few weeks ago and probably just made the cut in order for it to be included with the Game Awards. But you would think with the game, like, the way I see it is, I think it came on 2 days or something before they announced the nominees for the Game Awards. the way the way I would fix it is that if the Game Awards is, let's say, December 8th every year, let's just hypothetically, if it's December 8th every year, I know it's not, but hypothetically, then we should do, like, the cut would be November 15th or something. That would gives, like, either November 8th or like early November. That would gives time for them to calculate votes, to do all these other, like the player's choice things, like and to go through all the critics and all that stuff to make sure it doesn't look obviously rigged. It's like, I'm not saying it's rigged this year, but like if we go back to 2016, okay, yeah, then 2016 looks a bit rigged because you have Uncharted 4 and some other really good games, and then Overwatch wins it. Like, I don't know. And then for this year, Elden Ring winning Game of the Year, but doesn't win any of the other or quote-unquote important awards, like game direction, music, all that stuff. I mean, I'm not really trying to sound like I'm whining and like, God of War should have won. Like, no, I don't care who wins. I would prefer if it's a game I enjoy the one, but because I haven't played either of them, I'm not really much of a Source player, so I can't really say much about Elden Ring except whatever people say online, and just take their word on it and watch a couple clips to create my own opinion. Though I am going to possibly get God of War Ragnarok whenever it goes on sale, which I know won't be for a while, but whenever it goes for a sale I can afford. Because $90 for a video game that I might only play once, maybe twice, it's not really, and I'm not really a big God of War player, like a big Last of Us fan, to say it nicely. Like a Last of Us or Horizon, yeah, I'll pay full price for those games because I really enjoy those games. As something like God of War, I might not pay full price for because I don't normally play God of War. I might play it once just to see what the story is because everyone's saying, oh, it's a good story and all that, but yeah. But I heavily believe Horizon should have won something. Like, I know the game wasn't perfect and some of the script was wonky. Like there's quite a few lines in the script, especially from Aloy, where it sounded not human. But I mean, no game's ever going to be perfect. It's like when I tell people, it's like whenever I say that The Last of Us Part 2 is my favorite game of all time, I get a lot of confused looks because a lot of people don't seem to like that game for obvious reasons. But I really like that game. Especially like Part 1 and Last of Us, the original and / Part 1, whatever way you want to look at it. Whatever name you want to call it. I just call it Part 1 because it's more easier to identify, even though they just renamed and remastered. Part 1, but whatever. And with one thing I find kind of funny in a way is that obviously I haven't played God of War Ragnarok, so I can't say for sure, but based on clips and based on some research I've done, a lot of God of War's accessibility options seem a lot of the same as The Last of Us Part 2. So, I get why they want it because they have the colorblind option, but also there's something that, I'm not trying to sound oh, you're riding the Last of Us train and all to the end. Which, yes, I am a massive Last of Us fan, but like The Last of Us also has something that God of War didn't have, and that's the easy to find option, not options, but like the easy to find items and all that. Because, well, it won't tell you, depending on where you're standing, it might not tell you exactly what the item is, but it'll give you an idea what the item is so we can find it for the. Because when The Last of Us Part 2 came out, they had the deaf options, they had the blind options, they had a whole whack of accessibility. So obviously they won back in 2020 for the accessibility option when they first introduced that award. But yeah, like I get why God of War won and God of War basically clean swept the Game Awards, except winning Game of the Year, which was odd. But whatever. I'm just I'm totally glad in a way that God of War didn't win, because again, the game just came out like a couple weeks ago, so it wouldn't seem kind of like, oh, they just made the cut and now they're the Game of the Year. So interesting. But so even though God of War Ragnarok basically did a Last of Us Part 2 all over again and just took every award home that they were nominated for, except for a couple. Whatever your opinion is in The Last of Us Part 2, you can definitely agree that PlayStation knows how to create games very well. Like very, very well, because with Last of Us Part 2 cleaning the awards in 2020, and then God of War doing basically the same thing 2 years later. They know what they're doing with the exclusives. And what a goal! And we're going to overtime, perhaps. So I'm not really worried in a way that I'm like, oh, new PlayStation exclusive. I wonder if this is gonna be good. It's usually a pretty darn good game if it's a PlayStation exclusive. Let's be honest. Come on, go, Chaniak. Icing. But yeah, that's just the way I see it. Goalie. There we go. Braden Goalie. With a good, beautiful goal. It's not forks overtime. Oh, and unless you want me to do an NHL franchise, this isn't going to be an NHL franchise I do regularly on the channel. I'm just saying that now. So unless you want me to do an NHL franchise, I'm just playing this because it's something that cheers me, or quote unquote cheers me, or like relaxes me, whatever way you want to do it. And I'm kind of maybe a bit hyper there with 3-1 now over Toronto, playoffs. But yeah, just a relaxing stream, 8 years. We made it to 145 subscribers, and basically this year, because at the beginning of the year I was at 11, it was from 11 to 13 roughly. And then 12 months later, we're up 100 and let's assume it was 11. So 12 months later, 11. So it'd be like up 34 subscribers. So like it's not like, don't get me wrong, it's not like 1,000 subscribers plaque worth, like silver plaque worthy or whatever. But I mean, it's an audience. It's someone who I can actually make videos for, and not and based on what I'm trying to say, it's just thank you for, for for everything this year and next and 2023. Well, if you're into the wrestling, and we win this round, and 2023, no, not win this round, we win this game. In 2023, if you're into the WWE 2K22 videos, there's some really good matchups coming because I pre-taped quite a few of the matches, and let me just say that Ace Austin versus Alex Young coming out on January 9th, that match is probably by far the best non-title match in Alex Young's career. You know, he's only been going for less than a year now, but probably the best non-title one of his entire career. Because Ace Austin put up a hell of a fight. I'm not going to try to spoil it too much, but man. But man, it was a hell of a match. It's a 2-1 series. So, a little background information. So back at the trade deadline there, it's not on the channel. I just play this game on my free time. But, so back at the trade deadline, because I play with owner mode on, mainly for the owner challenges, which is, mainly for the owner goals. The owner asked me to acquire one first-round pick for the upcoming draft. So this is the Cardinal Bernard draft coming up. So I was trying, and mind you, my team's not great, but roster-wise, they're not great. Standing-wise, they're first in the standing. So with a record of 74-7-3, with first in the standings. But so I was trying to get a high draft pick, or at least, I know I can't predict to get the first overall draft pick, but I can at least get a lottery pick, and then hope for the best, then work my way up at the draft, work my way up, and maybe do something. Oh yeah, I'm trading this player, eventually work my way up to potentially get Connor Bernard. So the only team that accepted a trade for a first-round pick was the Anaheim Ducks. And at the trade deadline, they were 10 points out of a playoff spot. And the way I did my playoffs is, let's go here quickly. The way I did my playoffs is half the league makes it in. So there's 32, 33, there's 35 teams. There's roughly 35 teams. Because I added 4 teams. 3, 4, 5. 36 teams, sorry. There's 36 teams. Yeah. And so half the league makes the playoffs, the other half doesn't. And at the draft, Anaheim was not in the playoffs. They were close to the playoffs, they were within the race, but they were not in the playoffs. So, okay, let's go with Anaheim. If anything, they're going to play a good team in the first round. So in this case, it was Carolina. Okay, Carolina's a pretty good team. And probably get annihilated. No, they didn't get annihilated. So I'm okay. Now, with me having the draft pick, they're now up 2-1 against Boston in the series, which it's really annoying because I still have my draft pick and I have Anaheim's draft pick. So, and I don't really want, I don't mind my draft picks the last draft pick in the round. I don't care. I just want whatever draft pick I traded for, especially in the first round, to be a high draft pick, or at least middle of the pack of sorts. So now there's a really good chance my draft pick, or my 2 draft picks first round, is going to be dead last in the first round, and then second last. Well, the highest the draft pick is going to be, the highest my draft pick. Assuming if I make the finals, because I need to win 2 more games here against Toronto, and then once I win those 2 more games against Toronto, I make the finals. But if Anaheim loses against Boston and we make the finals, and then the highest would be is the fourth last. So even then, that's really hard to trade for. Or it won't be hard to trade up, but like going for like a really that's a nice pick, like a really high, like maybe like top 10 pick or something, especially for a team that it's not a great roster. It's maybe like a wild card roster. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a fun draft day. It's me. Boom, boom, boom. Goes the team, because we can be trading everyone, trying to figure out what we are as a team. If we are a young team, if we are a rebuilding team. I don't know where we are as a team, but we're gonna figure that out draft day. Because what other day do you do that? Because draft day is probably the worst day to do it, but whatever. Well, if there's one thing I know for sure about this team is that they're quite young, and we already have some stars that we already re-signed, like Oscar Sundqvist. We re-signed him to a pretty lengthy contract. We have trying to think of his name. We have Kokanemi on the deal that and Kokanemi scores on the deal that Carolina gave him, which is like 8 years. But luckily that 8 years is worth like $5 million. And he plays in top 6, so it's not too big of a problem. It'll probably be a problem down the line. But as of now, we are just rebuilding, and I need hefty contracts because the cap's going to go really high. So I need hefty contracts and not be on half the team on EOCs. So it could help with that. But yeah. I still find it kind of really weird that, not really weird, but just odd that Eldon whatever, especially with God of War winning everything else. Because if you go back, like, I know it's different year, different games, da da da. I know back in 2020, with The Last of Us Part 2 was basically in the same situation of God of War. What God of War was in this year, where they won basically every category, and they won basically every category. So you knew, especially with the nominees for Game of the Year, there was like about a 75% chance they're going to win Game of the Year. The only other one that was perhaps going to win Game of the Year was Ghost of Tsushima, but they only won like one award at the Game Awards, and that was at the Game and the only award that they won was not one that The Last of Us Part 2 was nominated for. So, and I'm not trying to be like, oh, that's the only reason they won, but like, I mean, every other award that The Last of Us Part 2 was nominated for, every other award that Ghost of Tsushima was nominated for, Last of Us Part 2. Every other award that Ghost of Tsushima was nominated for, that TLU Part 2
was also nominated for. There we go. The Last of Us 1. So, and back in 2020 when The Last of Us clean swept everything, it made sense for them to win the Game of the Year because they won every other award that makes the perfect video game, quote unquote perfect video game. No such thing as the actual perfect game, but whatever. Or like to the critics, perfect video game. To the fans, it's always a good conversation to have about The Last of Us Part 2 because everyone has a different opinion on it, especially about Abby. They got 0 shots, wow. So it made sense for The Last of Us Part 2 to win Game of the Year back in 2020. The last year, It Takes Two as an indie game of sorts. The next year, they went back to the mainstream games with Elden Ring. Well, I mean, it was going to be Elden Ring or God of War. It was going to be one or the other. There was no in between. It was one or the other. And if it's any other game, it'd probably be the biggest shock of the entire year. And there was a lot of big shocks this year, especially with Ukraine and Russia, which I'm just going to leave it at that before I get anything off of YouTube, because I don't know how YouTube is with that stuff, but I'm just going to say Ukraine, Russia. That's I think you can probably interpret it with that. But Carson. There we go. Oh, that would have been like a really bad goal, especially playoffs. Yeah, Alex Nadaljevik's been playing really well here. He's put for the entire playoffs. In the third round, he's under a goal per game, and he's played every game except I think 2. He's been playing really well. And I was really hoping I was not going to play Toronto in any round. But here we are in Toronto, a potential 5-game series. If we win this one, we head back to Halifax for Game 5. And the cup will be in the building. Not the cup. If it was East versus West, because then the cup would be in the building, but it's not East versus West, even though the last 4 teams was no, because Anaheim's the last West team standing, because Boston's East, Halifax is East, and Toronto's East. No offside? Oh, there's the offside.
More than half the period has gone by. Hope you're enjoying this one. Halifax leads it 2-0.
2-0. Halfway through the second, Halifax leads. We win this game, we head back to... Oh, win or lose this game, we head back to Halifax for Game 5. Yeah. Ashton Reese now. Looking for an opening. Long shots pass to Brad Richardson and score. No, he does not. Okay. Gourley looking for an opening and he misses the pass to Brad Richardson. Going for another try and this time he gets it. I can only...
This is an onslaught, and it looks like they've got no way to stop it. Most of the time, James, when you get in this tight, you're not really aiming it, and now that it's on your backhand, even
I find it... And another kid. Throughout the entire Game Awards, I was really hoping for something about Spider-Man 2, because there was... I know when it comes to video games, it's not like an exact release date. Like, okay, it's unlikely for an exact release date, especially when like, oh yeah, this game's coming out. We just don't know when. What we're telling you, we're working on this game. It's like with the Wolverine game, we have no idea when that game's coming out. We just know we're getting a Wolverine game by Insomniac. So almost my last second chance. So with Spider-Man 2, it said 2023, and there was some reports saying March to June, somewhere between that timeline. Those months, March, April, May. Yeah, so like 4 months. So much between there. So like early to mid 2023. So I was expecting like a trailer or something. Just something about Spider-Man 2. We got zip nothing about Spider-Man 2, which was odd. Really odd. So we're getting Death Stranding 2, so that's good. Another 40 to 50 hours, unless Kojima makes the game extra long. It took me 40 hours to finish Death Stranding 1 with a lot of walking and like 5 attempts for one of the final bosses. So yeah, and Troy Baker's back. Or Higgs. I'm assuming he's come back as Higgs. So Higgs is probably back. Well, we know Troy Baker's back, so yeah, that's. I find that interesting. So, not though. By the looks of it, 2023 is going to be an absolute banger. If you're a comic book fan and a big video game player, or into video games, whatever way you want to say it, because we start the year off with, well, we get Forspoken coming on at the very beginning of January. Then we have The Last of Us HBO series on January 15th. And then we have a bunch of other games coming throughout early in the year. And we have Ant-Man coming out in like February. It's like massive. It's like, oh yeah, we know the year is just starting, so here's a crap load of movies and video games to you. So in case another worldwide closure happens, you'll be good to go for several hours and days. Oh wait, Justin Hall's actually playing defense? Wow, that's a shocker. It's always sunny in Toronto. Oscar Sundquist.
Hard to believe that almost felt like it came out of nowhere, James. The 4 straight, they start to fly through the middle of the ice. There's no defense for that. Obviously, the puck's in the net all
The trades I did for Oscar Sundquist and Kokonami, by far, two of my best trades I've ever done in all my years playing franchise, which I started back in NHL 18, and here we are at NHL 23, and I made the two of the very best trades I have ever done. If I can find them after this game, I can let you guys know, which it won't take me long, I don't think. I just need to go to a page and then find them. Jimmy VC. I can probably find them now because they're. There we go. Kokonami's there. And Sunquist 1, I have to scroll down. With the Kokonami one, the only thing I had to give up was just several picks. For 23, 20, 24, 25. So picks for the upcoming draft, next year's draft, and then the year after that's draft. but still one of the best. Still one of the best things I've ever done. Unless Carolina picks up, like I don't know, like several steals, because there's like it's like 4 draft picks I gave them, which is a lot for Kokanami. But I needed someone in my top 6 who's young, and can score. Kokanami is that answer. Because you surround him with veteran players like Oscar Sundqvist, and you're good to go. I know any hockey analytic nerds would be like, well, you don't play those two in the same line because they don't work. It's 1, it's a video game, and 2, it's a video game. It doesn't really. But don't you want your team to be? It's a video game, and it's my franchise, so I'll just do it how I want to. Yeah, so it was a 23 fourth, a 23 fifth, a 24 4/5, and a 20. So basically, and a 25th third. So 2/5, a fourth, and a third for Kokanami. And then Oscar Sundqvist was Rasmus Sandin and Philip Grubauer, and a 23 second for Alex Nedeljkovic, which was another really good acquisition. Alex Nedeljkovic, Oscar Sundqvist, a 5th and a 6th for this. Both picks that I got from Detroit are for the upcoming draft, which Sundqvist and Nedeljkovic was what Nedeljkovic's been like a playoff god this year. Well, but this year I mean in this playoff that I'm doing, he's doing absolutely amazing. Like 5 almost per top 6 shutouts. He's doing so well where it's unless a player puts up like a stupid amount of points within a handful of games, it's very easily he's in the Conn Smythe very easily. So my backup started for the regular season, but then he played terribly during the first few games of the playoffs, so he ended up being the backup. Garrett Sparks, he did amazing during the regular season. We'll put him like 15 shutouts, something like that. And put up like just under 2 goals on average. We win this one in a shutout. Heading back to Halifax, where with Toronto's Toronto's season is on the line. Let me update the thumbnail stuff. I see a potential bot is in the chat. YouTube really needs to update their YouTube gaming thing, because it says I'm playing NHL 16, which I'm clearly not playing NHL 16 because it's a white background, as I believe NHL 16 was a black background. Update the description. Can I update the description? Okay, can I update the description? Okay, cool. There we go. Nope. Okay. Come on, Boston. Good. I want Anaheim to lose. Any other year, I couldn't care less if Anaheim makes the finals. With you, I have to pick. I want them to lose. Evan Rodriguez is over a point per game, and he in the playoffs. That's not what I want. I want the player stats. What was it? Yeah, he's got 900 save percentage, under a goal a game, which is unbelievable. Garrett Sparks, he only played one game, 800 save percentage. But during the regular season, he was Halifax a goal and 1.15 goals in average. Save percentage is absolute crap, but his goals in average pretty well. Alex Nedeljkovic's just on a different level right now. It's like, oh yeah, this isn't called playoffs. I understand the mission. I did it with Hurricanes a few years back in 2021. Yeah. And we failed because the Tampa Bay Lightning were an absolute monster. And this was cup thirsty. But this time I'm getting the job done. There we go. Halifax, Toronto, Game 5. If Toronto loses, I bet the Toronto media is absolutely loving this series because they passed round 1 and they are several games away. Well, if they win this game, then they'll be Game 5. So then they'll be 2 games away to the Stanley Cup final if they make it. But again, if they win this one and they're going against Alex Nedeljkovic, who is, as I said earlier, a absolute beast this year. Leafs in all white trying to camouflage with the ice. Rathbone going after him. Nedeljkovic. What were you doing? What were you doing, Alex Nedeljkovic? So Toronto's coming out hard. That's cool. That's cool. Because they're fighting for their season, so they want to stay in this thing as we want to end this on home ice and celebrate without having to travel back home. Still, we have 3 periods of this thing. There's still plenty of time in order to get one back. Okay, Nedeljkovic almost with the absolute remarkable glove save there. Probably a lot of this will be clipped for TikTok because I post a lot of my hockey Chell content and the 23 Chell, whatever way, onto TikTok, and a lot of the wrestling content on here on YouTube. So follow whatever one you feel obliged to. Mark Giannato heads to the bench for 2 minutes. Interference call. As the next time a video is coming out is actually today, because today is the 9th, so it comes out today, and it's Alex Young takes on Claudio Castagnoli on AEW Rampage. Well, if he wins, he earns himself an AEW contract and officially becomes all. Which within that contract, he will be allowed to jump back and forth to different companies because as they don't usually allow that in contracts. But since he's holding a WWE champion, they kind of have to give him special permissions unless he's forced to drop the champion. But the next time the champion is on the line,
is against Will Ospreay at the end of the month at AEW New Year's Smash. So he could drop it there. But then the title's also on the line in January at Wrestle Kingdom. So if he drops the champion, then they have to awkward. It's like, okay, we're allowing you to bounce back and forth because you are the champion. But if you lose the champion, then we have to renegotiate the contract and all this funky dunky lawyer stuff that no one really cares about except lawyers. Lawyers or agents, so. Edmondson, red shirt, over back to Ashton Race, back over and score, Jimmy Feasy. Attaboy Feast. Feasy. Back in front, as it should be. Halifax lead in Toronto, 2-1 now. If Halifax win, they move on to the Stanley Cup Finals. And then their draft pick ends up going down the drain, so then draft day will be extra fun. Because I want a really high draft pick, to build a future around a player, perhaps. But it's kind of hard to build future around a player. Will everyone outside the top 5 can't play in the NHL next year because they're not and not experienced enough. So, yeah, I kind of need a top 5 pick somehow. Carson with the face-off win over to Bean. Nope, don't have Bean, right? Because it's the first year this is the first year I did not acquire Jake Bean in a trade. I mean, because last year they gave up a first-round pick and I'm trying to think the Philly guy, not Claude Giroux. I can't remember his name, but it's a guy from Philly. I'll trade him and a first-round pick in order for Jake Bean, which is a larger axe. But whenever Jake Bean's, it's just a lot to give up for Jake Bean. But whenever Jake Bean's on my team, he's always the best defenseman on the team. So, I mean, it's worth it in some sense. Period 2-2-1 Halifax. Here we go. Bear, course. Rathbone Carson, right on up. Here we go. Nylander. So they have Nylander, Matthews, and Marno all on the same line. Why? That's a good goaltender where we barely had an answer for him in Game 1. No, Game 1, we did not have an answer for him because we did not score Game 1. So 1-0 overtime. Toronto got the win in Game 1, and which ends up focusing Game 5 here. As we won the rest of them because the series is 3-1. And folks is offside. Of course I did. Ramirez with the face-off win. Kokanami picks it up in the corner. Looking for an open player here. Back to Rathbone. Back to Bale. Couldn't get it going. Trying to find
Trying to get out of the defensive zone now. Sunquist. Rodriguez. Off the corner. To Kokanemi. Sunquist. Edmondson. Back to Edmondson. Sunquist now. Trying to feed it through. Couldn't get it through. Kokanemi. Up close. Any berries that that's with Kokanemi in the 7th. Two-goal lead for Halifax now. Toronto needs something to come back in order to keep their season 8 live. Edmondson, VC, over. They had a prime opportunity there, but instead he passes it away. Tavares. Richardson. Trying to find Aston Reese, gets him. VC now. Trying to find the open slot here. Trying to get either a shot or a pass to get a shot. Now that shot from Godet goes straight to Samsonov, and he holds it.
Here in the back half of this period, Halifax continues to lead by a pair of goals. Kerfoot's won the draw inside his own end.
Gajovic with a pick and a steal. Or could he lead to a goal with Galchenyuk? No, he just holds it behind the net there. Trying to find the slot with Gajovic. No good. Godet holding Enver across the boards here. Couldn't get the puck. Giordano picks it up instead. Enver gets it. Gajovic passes over to Godet, but just misses the pass. Giordano gets hammered by Godet. Kerfoot coming up the aisle. Loses it because of Myers. Now Halifax back in control. Myers over to Milano. Across the boards. And Samsonov is going to hold it for the whistle with 5.4 left in the second. Halifax still leads by 2. Carson with another face-off here. And we're down, and Toronto's about to enter potentially the last 20 minutes of their season if they don't find something to come back. Toronto didn't get a single shot on. Jesus. So potentially, if Halifax can hold on to this lead or grow it, they are moving on to the Stanley Cup final. Milano up the corner now, trying to cut through. Couldn't get the shot on as there was 3 Toronto defensemen holding down the fort and covering the Tendy. Rathbone off the Carson, stretch pass. Carson moves on back, trying to get past Brody here.
Oh, the giant tip. The giant bat of the bat there. Almost got it in. Milano's going face to face here. A boxing match with Matthews, but Matthews not allowing to happen. It's the ref's going to call this one with 2 minor penalties for each. So Matthews is gone for 2 minutes for roughing. As Halifax loses Milano, which is not really a significant loss for Halifax because they still have their top scorers on. But it is a significant loss for Toronto, though, because they lose Austin Matthews in a time where they really need Austin Matthews. Especially down by 2, season on the line, about 15 minutes left. Bear now has it. Ashton Reese back to Bear. Looking for the pass. Couldn't get it. Evan Rodriguez now trying to cut through. Same what doing what Carlson was trying to do earlier. Awkward pass to Rathbone, but gets it. But Marginal picks it up. Trying to get something going here for the Maple Leafs. I almost said Blue Jays. Rathbone gives it to Nedeljkovic to hold on for the whistle. Not exactly a great game for Toronto, but I mean, it's the playoffs, and it's Toronto. So, could you expect anything less, let's be honest? Especially in a really important game with a need to win. And they do with the Toronto Maple Leafs, and the Maple Leafs do what the Maple Leafs do best. Disappoint. Schmidt's the lone defenseman. Edmondson comes back. Jordan picks it up. We have 3 defensemen. No, Austin Reed's a forward. Gooley. Jordan over to Rodriguez. Keep thinking 15 time more, but it's not. It's Rodriguez. Milano holding in. Trying to save Rodriguez, and Kokanemi couldn't get that shot in time. Trying to go for the wraparound, did no good. About 10 minutes left for Toronto to get 2 to save their season. At least 2 to save their season. And the fans chanting, "Let go, go Widows, go!" Trying to cheer on their team to the very end. In order to see them in the Stanley Cup Finals in the first year, and Yona Gotchevic puts a pin in, puts the last staple perhaps inside the book that is the Toronto Maple Leafs season, and what could have been a fairy tale season of Maple Leafs breaking the first round curse, perhaps going to the finals for the first time since the 90s, at least. I think. I'm not 100% sure. But the first time in quite some time, going to the Stanley Cup Finals. And then they met Alex Nedeljkovic and the Halifax White Widows, a team that has been unstoppable this entire playoffs, except this round. And there's Gotchevic with 2 now. And just like that, the Toronto Maple Leafs season is officially over. A miracle season turned sour at the very last minute. Gotchevic saying, "Nah, I want the cup. I want my name etched in history. I don't care if it's my first year, last year. I do not care. I had a pretty good season, and I want to see this to the very end." And that very ends in the Stanley Cup Final. 5-1 now. Halifax back in the offensive zone now. Looking to increase it to 6. Ethan Bale running for the long distance shot. Gachaniak is Toronto played absolutely miserable in this in game number 5 here. Gachovic looking for the hat trick. Couldn't get in. Gachaniak. It's within game 5, season on the line. You would think you'll play really well, or at least fight to the end or something. Instead, they put out a Vancouver Canuck Game 7 2011 type of performance, which, in case you don't know, they played absolutely miserable. And with the hat trick, Yona Gachovic with the hat trick in game number 5. Absolutely. And the hats are just flying onto the ice. Yona Gachovic doing everything he can to carry this team into the finals. He's got Joe back. Oh, he's got Joe back, all right. He's got Toronto's back and just placed it right into the garbage bin. He wants to end this season off with this. He still has the finals left and wants to end the season off with a staple, increase his trade value, and make sure the fans go home happy. It's just like that. With 34 seconds left in the period, I think it's pretty safe to say that Toronto is going home, and the Halifax White Widows are moving on to the Stanley Cup final. It doesn't matter if Toronto scores another one or not, because they need to score 5 in 20 seconds in order to keep this game alive, keep the season alive for at least a few more minutes. But 5 in 10 seconds now, which is statistically impossible. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and a 1. The finals. For the first time in history, White Widows are moving on. For the first time in history, for the first season for the Halifax White Widows, they are moving on to the Stanley Cup Finals. It didn't take them long. Well, where Halifax end up with the same thing that the Vegas Golden Knights did in the first season, make the finals, but just couldn't quite finish, or would they would they take what the Golden Knights had, but yet made it, but they twisted so they are the fortunate ones and not the ones regretting everything. All they need to do is just hope they don't run into a hard goalie in the finals. But by hard goalies, whoever the heck Anaheim has in net, I believe it's I'm trying to think of his name. I can't think of his name. If they're playing John Gibson, he has put on probably the best performance of his entire career. It might if they make the finals or not, he's put on a hell of a performance. In order for the Ducks to make it this far, with a team that was a borderline playoffs team, made it far enough won enough games so they didn't have to play the wild card round, and they are one game away from the Stanley Cup Finals. Crap! Why? Okay, good. Come on, Boston. Come on, Boston. The current round is over. Please be Boston. Good. Okay, so so the highest pick we have right now would be the fourth last pick in the entire draft. Oh, why? So the 2023 Stanley Cup playoffs comes down to the two teams, that is the Halifax White Widows and the Boston Bruins, two teams that are basically just a couple hours away from each other. Let's just get out the Google Maps and see actually how far they are from each other, because I'm actually curious. So from Halifax to Boston, if you're driving, it's basically 11 hours, give or take. Give or take, it's 11 hours. Two Eastern teams, Stanley Cup final. So Boston had to face... Well, Boston swept Los Angeles in round one. Then they went to Game 6 with Nashville. Then Game 7 with Anaheim. Then 2 days after, they have to play a red-hot Halifax team. It's going to give everything they have to win the cup in the first year. But that's going to be it for. And I know it's a short stream, but yeah, it's a short stream, but just enough to, to give my opinion on the Game Awards. I was doing a really long Twitter, a really long tweet. My brain's asleep right now. It's 1:30 in the morning. My brain's asleep. But yeah, a couple of things before we wrap up the stream. The next time a video is coming out on the channel would be tomorrow, where it's a Alex Young versus Claudio Castagnoli, episode number 34 of the WWE2K22 series. Page. Episode 34. I think. Did I say 32? I meant 34. Episode 34 of the WWE2K22 series, which comes out tomorrow around 7:30 Eastern Time. But yeah. And the second thing, thank you for all the support this year. And here's to, even though it's not the last video of 2023, but it might be the last live stream of 2023. It's not the last. I'm making videos for 2023, so I'll have to, and the pre-made videos and just posted them. So I have 2023 stuck in my head, and it's like, it might be the last live stream of 2022. So while I'm live, I would thank you for everything this year and for getting up to the time of recording 145 subscribers. Thank you so much for everything this year, and here's to hopefully a really, really good 2023, which, I mean, with a lot of games coming out next year, hopefully. Here's hopefully more selection of games, perhaps, on the channel besides wrestling. Even though it's mostly a wrestling channel, because that's what I prefer making videos of. But hopefully there'll be a better selection of videos. But here's to a great year, and I'll see you guys all in the next video, which happens later on tonight. And, well, not tonight, later on today.
because it comes out in the evening. So, oh, evening Eastern time. So, don't know about your time zone, but because of Eastern time roughly. So, yeah. Thank you guys for everything this year. I know it's a really short stream. I usually do a bit longer, usually over 2 hours. But I kind of want to go to bed right now because it's been a really long day. So, toodles. See you guys tomorrow. And yeah, thank you for everything.